Pollock, 496.
So great to be with all of you guys here today. Thank you for listening.
For the record, if you just give us your name as well, please.
I'm sorry, Corey Soulier from Bristol, Connecticut.
Thank you.
I'm just a normal, everyday citizen that lives his life by what is known as the non-aggression principle. And in living under the non-aggression principle, it's the belief that most problems are best solved by way of persuasion and non-aggression as opposed to coercion. When I look at these gun control proposals, I see a lot of aggression and I see a lot of coercion. Specifically, Senate Bill 161 calls for banning ammunition feeding devices that accept more than 10 rounds. Now, if this were to pass and become law, and I use the term law loosely because it's my belief that any law that is unjust is no law at all, let's just say, try to think through this rationally. If this were to become law, and weapons such as a Bushmaster or an AR-15 were banned, and let's just say that certain citizens decided to nullify this law and to peacefully and respectfully not turn in these weapons to the government, what would happen? I think we know what would happen. Police officers who are armed would go to these law-abiding citizens' place of property, armed again, as I said, and use the threat of violence to try to confiscate these citizens' private property, even though these citizens have not committed any acts of aggression toward anybody. And so when I look at legislation like Senate Bill 161, which would ban these weapons, I think it's a proposal of hypocrisy. I'm not a gun owner. I have never owned a firearm because throughout most of my life I never saw the need to. But when I see my government passing legislation such as the Patriot Act, which strips us of our inalienable right to be safe and secure in our persons, places, properties, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures, I see that as cause for concern. When I hear things like the House of Representatives passing legislation like the Cyber Information and Security Protection Act, which will allow companies to bypass all existing privacy laws to spy on communications and pass sensitive user data to the government, I start to get more concerned. And when the United Nations launches a little thing called Agenda 21, which undermines the leadership of local municipal governments via unelected UN workers, I become even more concerned. And when my president approves legislation like Section 1021 of the National Defense Authorization Act, which allows the military to indefinitely detain citizens without trial, all in the name of protecting us from terrorists, I start to think, maybe arming myself to the fullest might not be such a bad idea. I call upon you to uphold your oath of office by following Article 1, Section 15 of the Connecticut Constitution. And I also call upon all gun owners to nullify any law that would say otherwise. Thank you.